Though I think sometimes my idea of what's appropriate differs from like standard society, but that's just because I don't have shame. I'm too busy surviving to care what everyone else thinks, obviously, or I wouldn't be putting this out. Hi, I'm Kate. There's a lot going on in the world right now. Like, so much. Between natural disasters, political events, the economy, the just existence, the housing crisis, you name it. Things maybe haven't seemed all that great lately. I mean, even the winning side of things seems to be angry that they won. And I don't understand. And it's been hard to function or focus or even know what to do. And so I've been trying to refocus my energies and basically try to dive down into like, this is stressful, right? That's been the underlying thing that I've been able to understand is like even the numbness that comes from the frustration and anger of things in the world around me or just my neighbors. That too. All of it. Life is frustrating. It's not fair, right? This is all really, really flippin' stressful. And I feel like that is how it's like the one emotion that I understand is it's not an emotion. That's the thing. I've always just said that's the one thing I know that I feel stressed. Everything else I have to think about, but I know that I'm stressed. I realized though, because I was actually like looking at healthy stress management tips, and while I was doing that, I realized I wasn't starting at the beginning, which makes a lot of sense because I am not the most linear thinker. You'd think I would be, but I am not. I'm working on it. I can be if I have the full scope of everything, but since life doesn't give you the full scope, it just gives you little pieces moment by moment. I start at the end. So researching stress management, I realized I don't know as much as I think as I do about stress. For one, it's not an emotion. I feel like it is my primary emotion, but realistically, and I'm on the Cleveland Clinic website right now. Stress is a natural human reaction that happens to everyone. In fact, your body is designed to experience stress and react to it. No kidding. It is my primary function. Oh, I didn't mean to like robot there, but like, well played, weird T-Rex arms. When you experience changes or challenges, stressors, your body produces physical and mental responses. That's stress. Stress responses help your body adjust to new situations. Stress can be positive, keeping you alert, motivated, and ready to avoid danger. For example, if you have an important test coming up, a stress response might help your body work harder and stay awake longer. Or forever. And ever. If I know I have to wake up, I definitely don't go to sleep, which is super, super fun by like Friday of a 5-day work week. In college, I used to be like hallucinating while shelving books in the library after like 1 hour of sleep a night. And that's a me thing. Oh, but there we got my place. But stress becomes a problem when stressors continue without relief or periods of relaxation. Again, without the whole no sleeping. But so there are 3 types of stress, and again, I definitely don't think I knew that, and even if I did, I don't think I internally understood that. But the 3 types of stress are acute stress, episodic acute stress, and chronic stress. Acute stress is short-term stress that comes and goes quickly. It can be positive or negative. It's the feeling you get when you're riding a roller coaster or having a fight. So, like, it's sort of just that little... It's right there with your adrenaline. It's probably your body's reaction to adrenaline. Realistically, I know that I focus best when I have my adrenaline kick up. Unless it's something small, like burn my toast, that'll ruin my life. But like endanger my life, like if my plane were to suddenly plummet 300 feet, I'm fine. Plane's got to land somewhere. We're good. And I do love me a good roller coaster, especially a wooden roller coaster. The Yankee Cannon or the Yankee Cannonball at Canopy. Oh yeah. Next up, episodic acute stress is when you experience stress on a regular basis. With this kind of stress, you don't ever get the time you need to return to a calm, relaxed state. Episodic stress frequently affects people working in certain professions, like healthcare providers. Also, people working in call centers like 211 or answering phone lines for DSS or other departments that work adjacent to that. And I did used to do that. I did not work for DSS. I worked for an adjacent department and got a lot of their calls. And I am still in recovery from some of those phone calls. Honestly, you have no idea the stuff I've heard, and it was so much. And that was while I was processing my own personal mental health journey. And boy, is everything linked and fun. Anyway, chronic stress. How is that different than the thing before? Let's find out. I should read the words. I've read this before too. It's like I forgot. I'm like a goldfish. That is a myth about the 30-second thing, but oh my goodness. Chronic stress is long-term stress that goes on for weeks or months. You may experience chronic stress due to marriage troubles, issues at work, or financial problems. It's important to find ways to manage chronic stress because it can lead to health issues. Again, I'm not entirely sure how that's different than the previous one, because like both of those last 2 things are just having a job. Historically, I mean, every job I've ever had has burned me out realistically, so maybe it's a me problem. But it just seems like, from what I can see in other people and like read on like the anti-work subreddit or any of the ones that are work related, these are the problems. Well, okay. There's a lot of problems. Every workplace is different, but I feel like a lot of the problems, they're universal. It's workers' rights is something I'm extremely passionate about, but I'm not going to get on that soapbox at this point in time. Because that's not what this is about. And I am very easy to derail today, let me tell you. So, how does stress affect the body? It's a great question. So, they made this great graphic, which, literally illustrates the physical symptoms. And so exhaustion, headaches, dizziness or shaking, high blood pressure, digestive problems, chest pain, muscle tension, aches and pains, sexual dysfunction, weakened immune system. I'm pretty sure I had like 75 to 80% of that going on, specifically because of just work stress, realistically. And then, yeah, stress can lead to emotional and mental symptoms like anxiety or irritability, depression, panic attacks, or sadness. I mean, I feel like that anxiety, irritability, that's just my default setting. And I'm working on being less of a little dark rain cloud. It's not working, but so I had started all of this again by looking into standard tips on. I wanted to get an amalgamation from. I read like I don't even know how many websites. I should look through my browser history. There have been a lot because it's been kind of a stressful. We have some stuff going on these days, you know? And it doesn't matter where your ball bounces. It's a stressful environment. Let's be honest. But so I admit to being frustrated by tips like positive attitude because, gee, thanks, I'm cured. That feels extremely defeatist, and it probably is, but it's like being told to calm down when you're freaking out. It has not helped anyone to tell them to calm down. It doesn't help anyone to say, have a positive attitude or redirect your thinking. Help them redirect the thinking. Help them calm down. Don't just tell them. Seriously, the person also has to be willing to accept your help. I've come out swinging over to people who have tried to help me when I have not been able to receive said help. And for that, I apologize. Yeah, things like laugh more. I wrote that down because that especially annoyed me. Like, yeah, no, I mean, I'm an inappropriate laugher. I laugh all the time, especially when I shouldn't be laughing. I'd say I'm working on it, but it's just a facet of my personality at this point in time. Though I think sometimes my idea of what's appropriate differs from like standard society, but that's just because I don't have shame. I'm too busy surviving to care what everyone else thinks, obviously, or I wouldn't be putting this out. Avoid unhealthy habits. We should be doing that anyway, but like, obviously, probably here the implication is drugs and alcohol, and yeah, no, it's dangerous to lean on those things. It's dangerous to lean on any one thing anyway, especially if it's going to chemically alter things, but I'm also not here to preach, and this is not a soapbox I'm going to get on. I'm going to stay on the ground, on the one surface in my apartment that my feet touch the floor on, thank you. Oh, and improved time management skills. I found that especially unhelpful. I mean, like, yes, you would be less stressed out if you just did stuff. But the thing is like, the first time I saw improved time management skills, it was directly underneath what I actually found as a helpful tip, which was to plan ahead. They're the same thing. A lot of these lists just reiterated the same stuff over and over and over again. And like, it's a list. I'm like, no, you've made an outline. Thank you. With only one primary heading. So the tips I did find helpful. Plan ahead. I know that I'm a planner, kind of. Some big planning, if I'm like joining a group, I will lose my mind trying to do that. But if it's just me and it's one thing, or if it's a Pete and I going on vacation and I'm not making like the actual things, I'm just planning for you know, packing and just what eventualities we might meet along the way once I know where we're going. Yeah, I will plan like what's the weather like, what's this, what's the range, everything. I will, and Pete does the same thing. So it works out well, but he's also good at like actually planning things and reserving things and doesn't have a panic attack every time he picks up a phone to make a phone call. So go him. Next up on the list, we have get some rest. This insomniac is going to tell you to get some rest because that's hypocritical. But it's true. We all need to get some rest. Sleep, most importantly, that's how our brains reset. It helps us lock in information, process it more, file it away, so that we can be more functional human beings the next waking cycle, you know? At least that's what they tell me. I like to think of my brain as a supercomputer or just a regular computer that, you know, is limping itself along, because that's what we do around here. Before we tangent too hard, let's jump on to the next one. Eating well and hydration. Just like we need to rest our brains, we also need to fuel our bodies. And the most important takeaways I took away from my 20s were, if you hate everyone, eat something. You are hangry. And if you think everyone hates you, you should drink some water. You are severely dehydrated and are thinking a little paranoid. It is amazing what hydration can solve. It's like night and day occasionally. We went camping once, everyone forgot water somehow, which is really silly because we grew up camping. And like a day and a half in, we were beyond snarky. We were getting mean almost. And everyone was like, I'm going to lie down because rest. And I just stayed sitting by the fire and I was like, I really want some water. And that's when it occurred to me, we hadn't had any water. We'd had beer and we'd had soda. So I went and found all of my water bottles in my car because I just always had a plethora of water bottles in my car at that point in time, and filled them up. And when everyone got up, they noticed the water and was like, light bulb. And then we had a much better camping trip moving forward. So yes, eat and hydrate. Very important. Next, set appropriate limits. This is maybe the hardest one because boundary setting is something that very few people are good at doing. And we need to find our limits and boundaries in the workplace and in social settings and with specific individuals or situations, or you name it. You need to have some sort of boundary. And holding those boundaries is even harder than setting those boundaries. And just, you know what you're comfortable with and fight for your comfort levels as much as you can. And I am not someone who's good at that, so it's the number one thing I have to work on realistically is boundary setting on so many levels. Next up, spend time with the people you love. So nurture those healthy relationships. And again, it's like I have this great list of things that you really should do and are helpful, and I don't do them because this is another thing that I'm terrible at. And this one is I equate to my anxiety. Reaching out to people is, I don't want to interrupt you. I don't want to invade your life. I don't want to thrust my person upon you. So I'm not going to reach out to you. Because even if I'm pretty sure you want to hear from me, my brain is telling me no in all of the ways. So if you want to hear from me, reach out. I'll probably respond. I don't want to put all the pressure on you though, so sorry. Moving on. Hobbies. Hobbies are actually far more important. Reading, writing, music, art, you name it, gaming. construction bricks, something. Find the thing that helps you distract yourself from your day-to-day stress, because oh my goodness, do we all have so much day-to-day stress these days, and we need a good distraction. We need a good reset. We need creativity and positivity for our brains to build off on. And then actually akin to that is the final tip I pulled together for this list, and that's physical activity. And that feels obvious, but even though I've always been like, yeah, I feel so much better when I do yoga, it didn't occur to me until like I was working and didn't have the extra functioning left in me when I get home to do any. And I would just feel my body tense up, and I carry my stress up in here, and I needed to work that out, but I couldn't. And then as soon as I was finally in a headspace where I could, executive dysfunction is a wild journey, by the way. Getting right back into yoga was so helpful, and it's helping not just my mental health, it's helping me physically too. So that's pretty great. So I'm sure by now you've noticed that stress is it's a personal reaction. It's how your body's reacting to external or internal stimuli. And there's no one right answer. Every single instance is going to be a little bit different depending on the day or what's causing it, or just because, it's a different moment. Because why would we have consistency? That's not how this works. We're just the same and different all at the same time, because life's funny like that, don't you know? And if you are struggling with stress and you're to the point where you just can't, and your insides are screaming and you're ready for that scream to come out, please reach out to someone, be that a family member or a therapist, a psychiatrist, a psychologist, someone. Please reach out to someone if you need the help. And be kind to yourself, because we all need help. And we're all going to get through this. We don't know what that'll look like, but we will get all through whatever this is. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care of yourselves. Hydrate. And don't forget to always tuck and roll.